pumped to get to meet with you today.
Hi.
This is Eli. So my friend Eli, he's been working so hard on reading and writing this summer, but also he's been really just killing it behind the boat, and he's been learning a lot about water sports. So we wanted to talk to the expert and be able to ask you a few questions that he has come up with. So Eli's going to take it away. He's going to interview you.
Cool.
Have you wakeboarded your whole life?
You want to know something crazy? Is wakeboarding wasn't even a thing when I started water skiing at 8 years old. The thing that wakeboarding came from is called a scurfer. That's SKURFER. And you can Google that and you can see some images of it. And the first time I rode one of those was when I was 11 years old. Yeah. And ever since then, I've always liked to not just wakeboard, but water ski. And so that's what I was doing. And when I stood up on it for the first time and I was just riding it sideways, I was like, this is cool. I really like this. And so I still like to water ski, do a bunch of different things like that, barefooting. And but it was originally called the scurfer. Then it was called the ski board. And then it was called a wakeboard.
I mean, what's your proudest moment?
That's pretty tough. There's some different things because I've had some competitions. It was a really cool moment for me. And to this day, it's really cool. Is I won a competition series and Ford was a sponsor of it.
Yeah.
And I won a Ford Ranger truck.
You did?
And I did. And my dad, he could, at the time, this is back in like 2000, he was using this older Honda Civic that he had inherited from his mom, like my grandma. And so at the contest, I just decided then and there on the podium, I was like, you know what, Dad, you need a new car. And I handed him the keys and gave him the truck. It was a blue Ford Ranger, and he actually drives it to this day.
That's cool. What is your favorite trick?
There's lots of different ones, but what I like to say is the one that I just landed. So whatever trick I go for and I just made it, that's my favorite trick.
What was your first trick?
But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm kind of known for doing the Rayleigh. Do you know what that one is, Eli?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's definitely fun to feel like I'm flying like Superman. That's a really fun one.
What's your first trick?
The first trick that I made?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of different varieties of things. But the first flip that I made was a heel side back roll.
What has been your biggest challenge?
I'd say recently, because like I've been doing this for a long time, and most athletes at my age, at 46 years old, they're not going to be doing their profession. Like they're not going to be a professional athlete. And I didn't expect to do it this long. But I have 3 kids. And one of the things that's something I have to be very intentional about is being a good father, like being a good dad to my 3 girls.
Yeah.
And making sure that I am, doing my job well. So I travel a lot. And so that's something that is, I have to really be balanced with.
What motivates you to do your best?
No matter what I do, I try to do whatever I do as well as I can. So it doesn't matter if I'm wakeboarding or if I am building something in my shop, if I'm cleaning dishes, whatever it is, I try to do it as well as I can. And so that's what I do.
What is the hardest trick?
The hardest trick? I've made some of them. And the last one that I made, I broke my foot on. And so I haven't done one since. I actually landed it, broke my foot when I landed it, but it was a double flip. And so that one is pretty tough, not just because of the technical difficulty, but because I broke my foot, and it's a little bit scary to think about doing that again.
Well, Eli, I am so proud of you. Thank you so much, Mr. Murray. I have one more question though. I want to know
Yeah,
if you have any advice for this young, awesome athlete and just amazing student for the rest of his life that you can give to him right now. What would you say?
what are some things that you like to do, Eli? Like sports wise, you like to play some different sports?
I like to ride my bike, ride my surfboard, and ride my one wheel.
Hey, that sounds like a lot of things I like to do also. So, when you're doing those things, riding your bike and riding your one wheel and surfing and things like that, the reason you do them is because they're really fun, right?
Yeah.
What can happen is, especially say with like surfing, when we get out there, you're like, oh, this is really fun. And then what happens is people will give us some sort of reaction to what we do. They're like, oh, you did awesome, thumbs up, or if we're having a hard day, we may not get as many reactions that day, right?
Yeah.
When people react well to what we do, it feels really cool, right? It's a good feeling. They give you a high five, or maybe you win some sort of contest or whatever, that feels really good to have a great response, right?
Yeah.
Well, then what can happen is we can start to get a little bit distracted with how people react to what we do, right? And so we almost make it a point to get good reactions. So we kind of do those things in a certain way that we think people are going to react well, and we forget that we're actually out there for our enjoyment, right?
Right.
So we end up going from our experience of something to performing something, right?
Yeah.
So I would encourage you, no matter what you're doing, if you're riding your one wheel and your bike, that's easy to make it about like what you're doing. When you're surfing, make it about your experience, not your performance or people's reactions. So don't forget to enjoy your moment. And that's why I say in my videos, if you've ever watched, I say enjoy your ride.
Yeah.
Peace. Right?
Yeah. Was it hard to ride the coffee table?
It was harder and honestly more scary than I thought, because it was so heavy, and those table legs, I felt like I was going to take one to my shin. Have you ever just walked through a living room and you stub your toe or hit your leg on it?
Yeah.
Well, it felt like it was going to happen at about 20 miles an hour. So it was a little bit scary. And I was like, all right, I did it. I want to be done with it. But you know what? Where I am right now, if you can see this place,
Yeah.
this is a camp. I'm staying up in that room up there. This is a camp called Word of Life. It's in upstate New York, and it's like a church summer camp. And the guy who's the director of it, Tommy, the guy who wrote it with me, he's the director of this camp. And so, like, I'm looking down over this hill,
Yeah.
and that's the lake. Things around here. And so the guy who's the director, it was for, we did a video for this week that I'm here right now. It's called Wake Camp. Yeah. But yeah, it was scary, but it was fun.
We did a lot of research, so we definitely checked out everything there is to know about you, and I was able to share my hero with Eli. So thank you, Shaun. I really appreciate it. This time was invaluable. It really means a lot to all of us, and I really appreciate it. Awesome. Well, keep doing good stuff at that camp and keep riding. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a good one. Enjoy your ride.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe. Bye.